What's up, y'all?
So, for the record, let's just do this. Tell us how to pronounce your first name so we don't get it wrong. Because we have learned the hard way to ask on day one.
Yeah.
So we don't screw it up.
It's Laiatu.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What have the last 24 hours been like for you?
I mean, just super surreal. Like, doesn't feel real. Like, when I woke up, I thought I was dreaming. But, I mean, I woke up with Colt. It's a crazy experience.
You didn't really think this was a possibility, like Indy as a team?
Well, yeah, I just met with them at the Combine, and then they just kind of knew what kind of person I was, so I think they didn't really need to do any, like, high-maintenance stuff with me. So I didn't really – it felt like I fell out the loop, but not at the same time I didn't, so that's kind of why.
Who did you watch and who have you studied over the course of your career as a pass rusher?
Yeah, I mean, when I was out of the game, it was like guys like Aaron Donald, T.J. Watt, Max Crosby, who else? A bunch of guys and a bunch of film that I was watching. I was kind of just taking certain moves from, no matter who it was, and then I would try to emulate it in my game.
Everybody says they have a high motor, but like just a little bit that I've watched, I mean, you don't stop. I mean, why is that such a big part of your game?
Yeah, I mean, having like football taken away, I mean, before having it taken away, I never took for granted football. I loved it so much. I looked up to, my big bros that were at UW, and I tried to take after them. But no one could be ready for adversity like that, and I just have a different appreciation for the game. And I love every minute being out there on that field.
Did it change you personally too? Not just in terms of football. Did it change you personally going through that?
Well, for sure. I mean, I'm more of a person who's just, I don't really need anyone else really to tell me what to do or how to, work. I know how to work myself. I know what I need to get better at. I know what my body needs in terms of, if it's speed or strength in a certain area in my technique. So, I mean, I just learned like a lot about myself.
You talked about, again, the surreal weekend that's been so far. Again, you're in Detroit. You're the first round pick. You're the first defensive player. Back when they told you that you might never play again, have you thought about how far you are removed from that?
Yeah.
How much the travel you've made?
I mean, it's crazy you say that because like it is a long way from that, and being the first defensive, guy to be taken off the board, from 2.5 years ago to not being able to play the sport. I mean, I really have to give thanks to God, and it's just crazy looking back on it. And I mean, I don't dwell in the past, and I'm all for the future, and trying to make this program as great as it can be.
When they told you that back at Washington, did you think I'm done, or in your head did you think no, I'm going to play again?
In my head, like I had a conversation with my mom, and she told me, what do you want to do? And I told her I don't want to give up football.
Immediately when they told you that? Yeah,
immediately when they told me that. And, I was trying to fight with them, because I don't think it was handled in the right way. So I was trying to fight with them, and, they weren't, being, they weren't being reciprocated. So I really just had to, tap into a different mindset. And what I really wanted, I didn't want to give up football.
How did you get
here you
better?
are.
Yes, sir.
How did you get better at playing football when you weren't playing? Because it's like you played freshman year, did all right, and you missed a couple years, you come back 10 sacks. And I'm like, how did you get better when you weren't playing football?
Yeah, I mean, I just fell way more in love with it. I was already in love with football, but, being in that down period where, you don't really have anyone else but yourself. I had my family, but I was in Seattle, they were in California, and I just had to take it upon myself where I was taking little, tools, little techniques, little drills from, a pass rush coach here, or I see, T.J. Watt or J.J. Watt do this in the game, so I'm going to take that and mix it into my drill. So it's a bunch of really just falling in love with the sport, falling in love with my craft, and just learning as much as I can during that down period, because I did tell myself I was going to be at a stage like this.
How did you find the confidence to play again and not think about the risk of injury or any of that?
I mean, it was easy. I mean, what the doctors were telling me I didn't agree with because I didn't feel that at the same time. So, I mean, it was easy for me not to give up. It was easy for me to be confident with everything. Obviously, it was emotional because I'm being told, like, and I can't control what they're telling me. So obviously it's emotional, but I never got in a negative mind state. I never got, down on myself. I always believed that, I was going to, work towards this.
I'm sure your family has been a big part of this, but as you've kind of digested the last 24 hours, who have you reflected on who's helped get you to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I've had conversations with my mom, and she's just been giving me encouragement during my down period. And, I've had agents, my guy CJ and Shafi, who's been in my life, and I've been able to grow real good relationships with, who's taking care of me. So it's really my family and my agents, pretty much this whole journey.
Is there maybe a coach at Washington or
Yeah.
UCLA or high school or anything like that?
Coach Malloy was definitely a father figure while I was at Washington and being hurt. I mean, I was supposed to be learning how to, be a coach. I didn't really get that at the same time, but I told Coach Malloy what I wanted. I wanted to be able to play football again, and he told me, do whatever you have to do in the facility to do that.
How close were you to playing rugby?
I was really close to playing rugby. I mean, not so close that I wanted to, but 2 months after my surgery, I take up, club rugby out in like Rainier Beach area, and then I get asked by the Seattle Seawolves to come do a camp. I killed the camp, and he wanted me to sign with them, but I told him, my passion is football. Like I'm working towards getting back and getting on the team, and he respected that.
Have you found yourself translating anything from rugby into your game in football?
Yeah, I mean, even before like playing in college, like rugby's made me a way better athlete. Both me and my brother played, and you just have to know when to flip to offense to defense. Like your IQ has to be really high, so you know what to do in certain situations. You got to be able to catch the ball, or else it's a penalty if you drop it forward. You got to know how to be able to throw the ball like backwards. You can't throw it forward. So it's a bunch of like little techniques that a lot of people growing up like don't get because they don't play the sport.
You've played, different techniques, handling the ground, 2-point stance, all that. First of all, do you know much about the Colts scheme? Because you didn't meet with them very much.
Yeah.
And then secondly, do you feel comfortable, in the 3-point stance?
Yeah. No, I know a little bit. We don't blitz that much, and we just kind of let them rush. I mean, I can't wait to get with guys like Kwity Paye, Buck, Dio. I mean, Kwity have been training a lot in the offseason together with Coach Eddie. So I'm getting a little feel for him and just kind of looking up to, dudes like that. I just met Zaire when I was leaving Detroit. So they were kind of giving me, real good advice and just telling me, be ready and to, let's rock.
How did you meet Zaire Franklin?
Well, it's crazy because I was walking down from the hotel in Detroit, and because he's announcing the second, the picks, and he was in the hotel and he came up to me and dapped me up, and it's real respect to him, and he just told me be ready and we'll get after it.
Did you know who he was at the time?
I didn't know who he was at the time, and then he walked up and I was just like, damn, this is crazy, bro.
Did you say Washington was training you to be a coach?
Yeah, so while I was going through that down period, like they kind of were looking for something to do with me. So they were like, we can help you like be a coach or get into that. But I didn't really get that attention to, be a coach. And I told Coach Malloy at the same time, like, I don't want to be a coach, bro. Like I want to be playing. And he told me, no, I get it. Like you do whatever you have to do in the facility to become that.
Is that like, and you kind of had to do it because like you're rehabbing at that time? Is it?
Yeah, well, I wasn't getting PT at that time. I was told I was going to get PT, and I never got it. So, I mean, my mom was sending me, like, PT stuff on Instagram for me to do, and I was kind of looking up, certain stuff. But, I mean, 2 weeks after my surgery, I start working out again because I'm not really told, like, otherwise. They're not, they're not maintaining me. They're not giving me PT or anything like that. And I can just go to the field and create drills myself that I know is going to translate like really well. Like they're not flashy or BS drills. Like they're going to get me to bend. They're going to get me to counter and to redirect. And it's just I just see passes in a whole different light.
Did that help you with your moves? Because you have a lot of like moves and counter moves.
Yeah. So I mean, Von Miller says to keep 3 moves in your bag, but I like to work a lot of things because I see passers as being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. So I like to rep consistently, certain moves and break it down into slow motion and to really see kind of like how I'm feeling in certain ways. And I see that come game time. Like I might be running and I might not even throw a move. It's just a reactionary thing that comes out from the heart, from the extra work that I was putting in and the consistency that I was doing that in. And that just, that translates to the field.
When you transferred to UCLA, did you have to convince their doctors at all?
No. So I was still at Washington when I got cleared. In September, my mom got text from my old coach, Coach Gwakowski, telling us about this doctor, Robert Watkins, in Marina Del Rey. And that's the same doctor who UCLA refers to, but we didn't know that at the time. And we went to go see him in September 2021, and that's when I got cleared. And so since September to January 2022, we were just like looking for a team to take me, and Coach Malloy took the job at UCLA, and he found out that their team doctor refers to Watkins.
From what I read, your mom was really like big on the Robert Watkins thing, like trying to chase down somebody that can get a second opinion.
Yeah.
How much has she been to your journey, and what did it mean to have somebody kind of fight for you?
Yeah.
When you are getting like told no over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be here if, she wasn't doing that and putting in all the hard work for me. I mean, just she knew I wanted this really bad, and she didn't, give up on me. And, it came that day where we got that text. She got that text, and, she flew me and her out to LA to go see him. And, from that day on, it was the clearance and the green light.
Just to clarify, Robert Watkins, he did not perform your surgery.
No, he didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And he just was the opinion you got that got you cleared.
Yeah.
What are some of your interests outside of football?
None. It's crazy.
You played for 2 years. Pick it up in time.
I had appendicitis when I was in 8th grade, but that's it.
Did you ever think about like what you would do if not for football, like as a career?
I would have went to go play rugby for sure overseas, because, I mean, they're really like loose with stuff. They'll take you at, like, if they see you playing and running around, they're going to take you. But, I mean, I was also like looking into firefighting, stuff like that. I mean, I had a coach who had got cancer while he was becoming a firefighter, and I think that's just really, inspiring.
Outside of the combine, do you know anything about Indianapolis? I know the combine can kind of be chaotic and you're only here for a few days, but you know anything about Indy?
Nothing about Indy, but I was talking with one of the security guards there, and he was telling me, this old man, he was telling me about, I forget the actual name, but it's called this, like, the Pancake House or something like that. And, yeah, he was telling me about that. He told me to go try it out, so that's the only thing I know, if that's a real place.
Laiatu, the surgery was in 21. When was the surgery?
It was March 2021.
What number? Do you know what number you're gonna wear with the Colts?
No, I don't know which number. I'm hoping I can ask Joe Flacco for 15. Respectfully, though, respectfully.
We gonna follow up on that one. I like it.
And you do like Latu, right?
You can call me with Laiatu 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, instead of, I know you asked about.
Oh, that's what you go by.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
go
that's
by
what-
Latu sometimes.